electrons. We also have the ionic crystalline solids, which is the salt, the sodium chlorides. And I will be able to show, we're not doing the actual structures right now, but salt is a crystal. All right, so pink Himalayan salt, all the different salts are crystals. They're held together by this electrostatic force. And also I want to share that water, when it's frozen, is also a crystal. All right, so it's called molecular solids, and they're held together by intermolecular forces. So when they're taking the hydrogen out of that crystal, other elements are actually into that ice. And it's just caused by freezing. So, and then we have what you call amorphous solids. And they don't have a structure, they don't have a shape, they have a wide range of melting points, meaning they can be very, very slow. So we're talking about things like glass, plastics made from oil, petroleum. We're talking about even certain crystals or glass. All right, so you have some metals that can be glass. All right, things like obsidian. Many people didn't know that the black obsidian. And a customer came in today asking me that I have a black obsidian, and somehow it walked away. And I kept it for myself. But crystals like to go different places. I don't know how they get away from us, but they find a way to get away from us. And I know if anybody knows and has that experience, if you give somebody something or it's just laying there, somehow it just disappears. And crystals like that. So polymorphic solids, these are things that have polymers. Polymers are in our DNA. We know nanotechnology to be polymers. We know fullerenes to be polymers. Y'all can look up those words, fullerenes, nanoparticles. Those are all polymers. And they all have the same chemical composition. They all have the same temperature and the pressure. And these are the same things like inorganic polymers, like glass, silica. And we know that our body has a lot of silica in it. And we don't want to put a lot of silica inside of our system. So I don't like to use horsetail. I know some people like to use horsetail, which is a herb that has a lot of silica. Bamboo powder, also, or bamboo extract, has silica. But these are things that help us with our hair, help us with our skin, also help us with our endothelium. But they don't like to come out fast. All right, so when it's coming to the body, you don't want to have things like the diatomaceous earth that has more silica in it, but because they don't come out the body fast enough. It's an inorganic polymer. We need things that are organic polymers, like the proteins made from all these different amino acids. And we need things like the glucose molecules that make up all of the carbohydrates. So when we melt certain polymers quickly, we get an amorphous solid, the things that don't have a structure or shape. When we melt polymers slowly, we get the crystalline solids, like the ionic, the metallic, and the molecular. All right, so certain crystals have impurities. All right, certain crystals have impurities, and I want to relate that to like a ruby or something like that. Rubies have what you call, let's go right here for a second. Rubies have chromium. It's a transitional metal, and it turns things red, or it turns things pink. If you deal with a, let's say anything green, like a jade, or a, let's say a fluorite, and it has a green impurities, then you're dealing with the copper right there. So each color changes. And there's a theory, there's a color theory that says minerals that are incorporated into the structure is what gives crystals their color. For example, the red, orange, and yellows, they make everything stronger, they make everything stimulate faster. And the blue purple and the green makes everything cool and relaxed. So when you're dealing with like a aventurine, the aventurine right here, this is something that keeps everything cool, relaxed, and it also gives you confidence. So I like to hold this when I'm doing my speeches and things like this. The aventurine really works. All right, so these frequencies that you do with these crystals, I'm talking about just tapping, create something called piezoelectricity, and it lets off a frequency within you. And a lot of people don't understand how the electrons actually arrange in different structures and things like that, but they actually emit different energies. All right, so have you all ever seen a crystal bowl, like a singing bowl made from a quartz? This is what this is right here. You can show the people what this is. What this is, you know, a crystal singing bowl. This is another way that you can charge your crystals. Okay, so you don't always have to put things in the sun. You cannot put an amethyst in the sun. All right, you can't put like a selenite. Those are the wands, the selenite wands that you see. You can't put those in the sun because they just turn colors and they will, you know, it won't work as much. So to rebalance this, I would use crystal quartz. Everybody knows that the quartz magnifies it, basically amplifies the energy. So this is going to probably be a little loud once it gets to, I don't like this bass. Let me take it off the bass. It needs to have a rubber base. So just by emitting a energy, a force, it's called piezoelectricity. And sound energy, along with other things like microphones that you speak into, they also emit electricity. They turn sound energy into electrical energy. They turn mechanical energy. So I'm just messing it up right now. All right, so we understand that you can rebalance the energy of these quartz, these aventurines, all these other quartz. So I just wanted to share this part here about the pressure that I put onto this quartz, right? I took that mechanical energy and I transmuted it, converted it, however you want to say, into voltage. Now we don't know the actual frequency, all right? So they come in different particular sizes, so different sizes of the crystal is going to emit a different frequency. The shape of it is also going to emit a different frequency. The flexibility, the unique crystalline structure, all of the atomic structure that's there, all of that really depends on, so we don't know the exact frequency of each crystal. One thing you should know, that piezoelectricity up here is stable. It's very stable. Now, Tesla, I know everybody knows about Tesla. We're going to put it on the screen up there for a second. He says, if you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequencies, and vibrations. In a crystal, we have clear evidence of the existence of a formative life principle. And though we cannot understand the life of a crystal, it is nonetheless a living being. Crystals are alive. Crystals are alive. If you scratch a crystal, you can make something called triboluminescent property. It's a triboluminescent property. It's where the light is actually generated when the crystal is scratched. or just, you know, rub, and you can see certain light. When it's polarized, you'll see different ways that the crystal is actually on its different lattices. You can see the different auras. And this is also what you call pleochroism, because at different angles of light, you'll see, you know, it's all about color theory. This can actually emit and make a better aura field for yourself. So as far as those talking about chakras, and it's good to have a aura crystal around, especially when you're trying to make align certain auras. Now, this right here, if you're making a grid on yourself and you had an imbalanced heart chakra, and you want to align your throat chakra as well, so you'll put these two double terminated points, align it with a rose quartz. This is a rose quartz for your heart chakra. And the heart chakra is sometimes green, so you can use some jade sometime for it. This is not going to be a chakra class, but you can use the rose quartz to align your heart chakra. And you can maybe use I have what you call a lapis lazuli right here, and a labradorite. And that helps my throat chakra as well as my heart chakra. And I keep that ankh right there as well. So if you're making a